Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Anne-Marie Nachimera, and I am excited you are here to learn together with me. I have been thinking about worldviews and perceptions, and that's what I'll talk about today. Just something I've been learning. There is a question that's asked a lot. The picture is right now on the screen. Usually they ask, what do you see? And many times when I have been part of the exercise where that question is asked, people say 6 or 9. I asked that question recently at I was giving a speech somewhere, and I asked that question, what do you see? I expected people to say 6 or 9, and true, people say 6 or 9. This is the shocker. Someone said G. I had never had that before. I had never seen G before. And in that moment, I realized the power of perception. Because first I had done this exercise before, and every time people say 6 or 9. And usually people say, which number do you see? But I asked the people, what do you see? When I asked that question, I did not expect anyone to see a letter. I expected everyone to see a number. And when someone saw a letter, I was wowed. I was thinking, wow, I had never seen that before. That enforced the idea behind my love for perceptions and my quest to understand perceptions. There's a story I have had told that I love. It really, I feel it explains perceptions really well and the power of perceptions. A story is told of a gentleman who decided to leave that village because the people in the village he was staying in were not friendly, they were not kind. The village was very dirty, those children were too loud, and he decided he could not take it anymore. He could not live in that village anymore. He could not live with such unkind people. They were not generous. He started to look for a village to stay in. And he walked and walked. He got to this village and he looked at their fence, their wall. It looked really nice. It was well kept. He peeped through the gate and noticed that their compound design was on point. The place was clean. People were laughing together in the town square. And he decided that that's the village he wanted to be part of. But he had been beaten before, once bitten, twice shy. So he decided to ask one of the gentlemen at the gate what the village was like, because he was considering it as his new home. And the gentleman at the gate asked him, where are you from? Then he told him where he's from. He said, what is it like? And he told this gentleman, where I'm from, they're dirty, they're unkind. The compound is not well kept like the compound of this village. People do not laugh together. I'm seeing children here play, and they're not too loud. The children here seem to be very disciplined. People seem to get along. They seem kind. They seem generous. Where I'm coming from, those people are very unkind. They are not generous. They are loud. They gossip. The children are indisciplined. The place is dirty. This gentleman says, what? You won't believe it. This village is worse than the village you're coming from. These people are not what they seem to be. Our compound looks clean, but these people are not clean. These people look friendly, but when you become one of us, you'll discover that we are not what you think we are. I would advise you to find another village. And I remember the day I listened to that story, it was being shared in the perspective of our perceptions and how we view life, and how that will bias our view to everything else. Because if I see life a certain way, that's how life is. We are all putting on glasses, tinted glasses. And they are tinted by our experiences, by our values, by our bringing, by the people we spend time with, the people who love us, the people who we have interacted with, whether they were nice or not. How we view life is biased. We have a worldview, and that worldview determines how we interact with other people and how we see other people. Because I have really been thinking about this. I have given it so much thought. I have researched on it. I have been obsessed about it. And the reason is I'm bothered when I misunderstand situations. I realized in the process that I'm not very good at asking questions, and so many times I'll misunderstand a situation and then I will move on and go with my perception of the situation as the truth. And yes, down the road you have been upset with someone, you're not talking to someone, and you realize that it was you. It wasn't them. Like literally, it was you, not them. Because you misunderstood. You misunderstood what they meant. You misunderstood why they did what they did. And that's why I've been really spending lots of time thinking about it. There's a quote by Steve Covey that says, to change ourselves effectively, we first have to change our perceptions. The reason I started this journey of understanding worldviews and perceptions was because I needed to be different. I needed to be better. I needed to communicate better. I wanted to interact with people better. I wanted to understand people better. And I realized that can't happen until I start with me. It's me that needs to change my perceptions. And the other people can make the decisions they make and do what they do, but it's me that needs to change my perception to be able to find the peace I want. Because sometimes I'm anxious and I worry, and it's all based on perception. It's based on how I'm perceiving the situation and what I'm thinking, people are thinking. And there are three things I have been doing, and those are the three things I'm going to share today. Of course, there are many other things you could do, but I'll just share three things. I will use the acronym L.E.T. L.E.T meaning L.E.T. I will start with L. L for me stands for listen. And this is what it means. Listen to the other person. And listening means I listen, and because I'm listening well, I ask questions if I do not understand what they've said, or I am not sure I understand what they've said. It looks something like this. Someone tells you something and you say, oh, okay. Let me just get this right. Is this what you are saying? Because I'm listening closely. So because I'm listening closely, I'm able to ask questions instead of come to a conclusion based on a statement someone has said that I may not understand. However, listening does not stop on listening to the other person. I need to listen to myself. I don't know if anyone is like me, but many times people are talking and I am talking. Not talking. Okay, sometimes it's verbal, but other times it's in my mind. Someone is talking and I'm replying to what they're saying in my mind. I am commenting, I have snide remarks as they talk. I've also learned to listen to myself. And many times I stop myself from talking as they talk. And that could be, sometimes it's physical, like verbal. Other times it's within my mind, because that helps me listen better. But also this listening means I'm listening to what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking as this person talks. The E in L.E.T is for evaluate. Evaluate what you're thinking or feeling. I do that a lot right now because I realize that many times misunderstandings for me are at a place where I perceive what's said based on how I feel. This is what I mean. I had a bad morning. And because I had a bad morning, and I'm not aware of my mood or my emotions, when someone says something, I listen to them with the shield of my emotion. So what I'm teaching myself is when someone says something, to stop and evaluate how I feel. Sometimes people say things and you feel offended. And because you feel offended, it's possible to get very emotional about it and miss the point. I am not very good at this. So even as I say it, I'm not very good at it because I get very passionate about everything. I have opinions and they're loud. I get very passionate about everything, but I'm teaching myself to evaluate how I feel. I do not need to say everything. I do not need to express everything. I remember one of the things I used to say is I'm authentically me. So because I'm authentically me, it's important that every single thing I'm feeling is said. And I'm learning that it's important for me to evaluate what am I feeling. Does that feeling have anything to do with what's being said? Or I'm hungry, or I had a long day, or I didn't sleep. Sometimes someone is late and I'd get upset. But the reason I'm upset is not that they're late. I'm upset because I had to wake up early and I'm sleepy and I didn't even get something to eat because I was trying to keep time and as a result, I am very offended as I'm talking to this person. And yet, if I evaluated why I'm offended, it's not even because I feel disrespected by their late coming. No, I'm just hungry and sleepy. Then the T is for think. And with think, for me, think means think further. I've listened to the person, I've asked them questions, I've evaluated how I feel as they talk, I've evaluated if the state of my mind is listening and understanding what they're saying. I then move further to think through what has been said. Think through it, not based on my worldview. There's a quote that is said quite a bit, a statement, to walk in someone else's shoes. There are times I've found myself in that place where I have a very strong opinion on something that I know nothing about. I've never walked in that person's shoes. I am a therapist, a counselor, and one of the things I noticed is that many times as we work through mental health challenges, it's so simple to tell someone, just get over it. It's so simple. I have had people tell people, you're depressed. Just exercise and you feel better. Or you're anxious. Why are you anxious? Don't you have faith? And many times we say things like that without walking in the other person's shoes, not understanding how did we get here? How did we get to the place of hypervigilance? How did we get to the place of depression? And I understand that we may not be equipped to ask those questions or equipped to even understand the answers to those questions. My call for us is to be able to stop and realize that we actually don't know. We really don't know. I was shocked earlier this year as having a chat with my siblings. Actually, with my family, not just my siblings. And I had one of my siblings shared a story. I was there when that thing was happening. But I had them share the story and I started to wonder, was I there? Because it sounded different from what I remembered. In that moment, I realized we all experienced that situation differently because we were at different places in our lives. So before you dismiss someone's opinion on something, someone's pain on something, someone's reaction to a situation, you try, you think, you stop and think what it could be like for them. Try and walk in their feet. Not in their feet, in their shoes. Because in their feet then. Try and walk in their shoes. That will change everything completely. It is a journey I am on. It's a journey I'm enjoying because I feel a lot more peace. I feel I'm able to communicate better with people because I ask for clarification instead of coming to conclusions about people. I've also learned to let things be because sometimes you don't understand it and it's fine. I do not. Anyone who knows me knows I like to understand everything. And this journey of understanding worldviews and perceptions has helped me understand that I do not need to understand everything. I need to trust the person and what they have said without emphasizing the need for me to understand it completely in order for their view to be valid. There's a quote by C.G. Jung that says, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The next time someone irritates you, ask yourself, what does that say about me? And not in a bad way. I don't mean that in a judgmental, I am horrible sort of way. I'm just saying, ask yourself why. Why do I think this about that person? Why do I feel like this about that person? To recap, I am walking through my worldview using an acronym, L.E.T. L for listen. Listen to the person talking and ask questions to clarify, but also listen to myself. What am I hearing? What am I feeling as the person talks? E for evaluate. Evaluate my mood, evaluate my emotions and feelings, even as I listen to the person, because how I am feeling and how I am thinking affects how I perceive a situation. T for think. Think about the other person. Think about the other person and what they could mean and what they could have gone through, especially as you ask questions and get clarity. Remember to walk a mile in someone else's shoes before you come to a conclusion. Thank you so much for keeping it here till now. Please go ahead and just share some tips of things that have helped you with communicating better and understanding people better, because that's the whole point for me under learning perception and trying to understand my perceptions and how they affect how I interact with people. So if you have some tips that have helped you with your communication, with your interactions with other people, please go ahead and share them. Do not forget to share this video and like. Thank you so much. Till next time.